Step into the lab, lights hum like a starship dock. Pine logs stacked like data banks in a cube block. I calibrate climates while the timeline bends. Writing fungal code loops only mycelium sends. I navigate ecosystems with instinctive precision. Every egg played a portal to a parallel vision. Mentorships spin up like reactors at dawn. You want a culture revolution, then you better respond. We fracture the boundaries of the natural order. Make Reishi bloom sideways like a space-time border. I'm an Appalachian alchemist, wild ridge born, with a druid's intuition and a mind full of spores.
Keep spawning culture.
We're the network underfoot, the unseen sculpture.
Keep spawning culture.
Well, hey, yo. It is a beautiful, beautiful Thursday. And I am sitting here in the old space. New old space? I don't know what you would call that. But this is the computer that I normally do the streams from is right over there. And we are moving things around. I might have to, let's see, I wonder if I can. So we got the Keep Spawning Culture sign going up. We got some neat stuff going on lab-wise over here. But we're now creating a new, I don't know what you'd call it. I guess the teaching lab. We're creating a new naturalist teaching lab. And that is what we were working on. So we're going to have camera views like, oops. There we go. Camera, dang it. There we go. Oh. I don't know why it's... There we go. Cool. We've got some views we're going to be using. And, oh, why is it? I don't know why it keeps taking... It's going to require manual camera control for now, but yeah. What's up, Woody? Glad to have you, man. It is definitely good to... It's definitely been a good day. One might even say great. That's been maybe even a great day. I've gotten a lot of stuff done that's been kind of clogging up the works. What's up, Exception? What's going on with you? Good afternoon, Mushroom Nerds. And then right after that, Myco Nerds. You guys planned that. What's up, brother? What is up? Yo, Myco Nerd, and exception to the rule. Ready for mycology class? Yeah, man, we're... oh my gosh, my voice cracked. That's what I get for eating a Krispy Kreme donut right before the stream, I guess. The clash room. Yeah, we've got a really cool setup coming. I've got a lot more work to do on it. There's some aesthetic things I want to do. We have the lab set up. And so the shelves are rolling and we're moving those around and everything. There we got our flow hoods. Everything, as you may have noticed, on that other board that are on that other thing we should right here, you can see that we've covered everything in whiteboard. This was Samantha's idea, and I'm in love with it. Like, it was $20 at Lowe's for a 4x8 sheet of whiteboard, and it is wipeable. And I even figured this out, which is one of the pluses. One sec. But you can see, if I want to draw an example of something, that's my kindergartner drawing. Like, I'll even be able to teach. Ow! I'll even be able to teach right here on the table.
It's brilliant.
It is. I just said it's your idea. You don't also get to say it's brilliant, Samantha.
Yes, I do.
She said, yes, I do. So anyways, I'm super cool because I have the cool whiteboard now. No, I'm really excited about this. It's the whole teaching. I've got a camera crane I'm working on installing right here, so we'll be able to pull the camera down and have a top-down view of anywhere. We've got the cell phone rig, of course. We've got, let's see, how do I change this? I forgot. So we've even got like that, the cinema camera. Which is not going to be, it's not a super useful place today, but it does give us a chance to get different views going. We've got the microscope cam set up. I'll need to turn the switch on before we go to that, but we're going to play around a little bit today with the new format and seeing what we like about different things. But we're going to take some of this stuff and we're going to make some microscope slides. And we'll take them over there to the microscope on the live stream and see. I figured out some new ways to look at it and get the microscope view. So based on using the switchboard, the mini HDMI cables and such. So yeah, we're just gonna really play around with a bunch of interesting angles, and this is gonna be real loosey goosey. I'll be happy to answer questions throughout this whole process, of course. Hi from Northwest Arkansas, I'm guessing. I've missed a bunch of weeks. New room looks great. Thank you very much. Yeah, so we took the break room out of this area. I got tired of people asking me if I live here. So we took the break room out of this area, moved it into the back room. We're setting up a new space in the very back room. I have the aquatics lab down in the old incubation where the old studio was. And then, of course, we've got the plants and stuff outside. And then this lab will serve us for all the plant tissue culture work, the mushroom work, of course, the aquatics laboratory, and just any sort of class I want to teach, curiosity, that kind of thing. So we're trying to get all of our equipment. So I've got my UV lamp. Oh, my gosh, that is hard to... There we go. UV lamp, some grow lights to do some of the plant tissue culture work, my centrifuges, my vortex mixer, and we got a lot more equipment coming through here. I know it's a mass of cables, but it's coming through. Oh, well, moving the lab out the back room. We're making some big changes, man. Since you've been here, we're making some big changes since the last time. Has it been 2 years or a year and a half, maybe, since you've been here? We've already been making changes, and we're making more. So, what'd you say, Samantha?
It's giving us a little more room to sprawl.
Yeah, it's definitely giving us more room to sprawl. I've still got to move all of our desk stuff out. So Samantha and I are taking our desks apart, and so this is becoming a shipping area. So we got the lab, and then right by the door is the shipping area, and Samantha is going to get a desk back in the back room where she doesn't have to be bothered when she's working on artwork. So she can go back there and work on stuff, and I can be out here working because ADHD me loves the in and out and the constant distractions. Samantha, who does not like distractions to a very large degree, will be much better being sheltered in the back, I think. So we're going to put her big ass oak desk back there and give her a place to hang out. Yeah, I like the whiteboard looks clean. That is one of the nice things I like. I don't like because it scratches easy, but at $20 a sheet, I can afford to replace it if I want. I do have a little piece right here I need to clean off, but what's up, Wiliest? What's up, Barbara? Keep the permanent markers in another room. Oh, yeah? That's a fair point. I'll get confused. I'm sure I will. Way to think out of the box. Like again, that was Samantha's out of the box thinking. So all credit has got to go to her. But we'll have the peristaltic pump stored over here and some other, like I'm thinking about putting some shelves up here. The cinema camera that we were just looking at the view from is going on a dolly, so it will be able to move as a studio cam. It's got quite a long HDMI cable just for this purpose now, where I can go and just, pop the locks off and then move it, close it down, focus it, and then we can use the switchboard right here to get views of that. So if Samantha wants to do stuff and I talk through it, or vice versa, we can do that. Or if I even have a guest, because we're moving to we're going to be having guests again soon. And then our classes, I've put all the classes on a semi-hold because I'm getting guest speakers to teach specialties. So I'm teaching my specialties, but I'm going to let some of these other guys who are better versed, in some things, like Dr. Ed Grand. He's literally got a doctorate, so he's going to go and teach a mushroom breeding class. I'm about to set that up on the website. And then we've got other classes that we're going to be doing. So the people who got the class pass early this year are going to have a really, really good value. Not that they didn't already. They already had a good value, but they're going to have a great value by the end of the year. Because we had Sam from Shroom Squatch teach cordyceps, and my cordyceps is going crazy. We can go back there and look at it here in a minute on the cell phone cam if you guys want, because my cordyceps is looking really good. Actually, I've been out of cordyceps for a while, and today I drank cordyceps for the first time in a while, and it was nice. I drank it from fresh. I used fresh fruits instead of dried. You're fine, Samantha. I like the noise in the background, and
That's one thing is normally I'm working out of sight, and then
now you're in sight working.
Yeah.
That's okay with me. That'll get us more views.
Okay.
Looking like a professional lab, I would hope so. And we're so I don't want to be a big spawn producer, so we're not really doing the big spawn production.
Another quick pro tip is if you want to hang all your measuring stuff, you can just grab a metal shower curtain ring.
Yeah, Samantha uses our metal shower curtain rings to hang up all of our measuring cups, scoops,
And then it works perfectly by hitting it on the.
Yeah. And then she keeps it right there by our scales, and then, but yeah, I'm moving more and more to a teaching lab, and then I am leaning in, and I have been for the past couple of weeks, months, I don't remember, really into the mushroom breeding. That's the part I like. I like teaching, and I like the mushroom breeding. I don't like the constant, I don't know. I don't like grind work, and spawn is kind of grind work, and it's logistically difficult. So we're going to do some spawn drops occasionally of new genetics, but that's it. It'll be like we're going to move to people can pre-purchase the drop, and then the drop will come, when the bags are ready, and it'll be new genetics usually. And then we're gonna just move more and more to being more of a culture bank, and then a teaching channel. So I'm pretty excited about it because I've got the camera stuff, I've got the expertise, I've got everything I need really to teach a lot of cool things. And then I'm working in collaboration with Man-O-War next door. We're setting up a nice, cool collaboration. We just had a meeting about it today where we're going to be working together a lot on media projects and things, and getting the new equipment showcased in the studio lab, and really kind of, I don't know, just I guess showing a lot of the cool stuff that Ben's got that it hasn't really been pushed yet. So there's gonna be a lot of neat things. It also hopefully will make it easier for me to just come in and film a video, which, videos have been historically one of those things that I only do occasionally. So we'll move more and more to that as well. Having the space set aside, this is a big deal. People don't realize that sometimes, but having a space set up to move it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. All right, let me. Nope. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm going to just put together. You guys feel free to talk or put questions. I can see everything still. I'm just going to work on making a couple of slides for the microscope, and then we'll go there and check that out. So this is mostly just stuff I grabbed outside to test. So this is all mostly aquatic stuff. I do have some water here that is from one of our bins where the plants are growing, but that's old mushroom substrate. No, you can't see that camera right now.
I can't see your ink reader, but that's
Yeah, I'm using the cell phone rig for that. Alrighty. So this is like old mushroom substrate that's just been rotting down for about a year in the grow tub. And we're going to see how this looks under the microscope. I don't know if the soil is going to look awesome sauce, but I think we'll get some awesome sauce looking things for sure. We got some bladderwort to look at, some hair algae. I just collected a couple of things. I didn't collect any of my rice fish babies because, well, I didn't want to kill them. And I didn't want to, I'm trying to breed them because rice fish are, they expensive, yo.
Rice fish are nice fish.
Rice fish are nice fish.
You can't be mean to them. That's against the law.
It's against the law, Samantha says, to be mean to them. But yeah, so that's going to be kind of neat. This will be our an example of how this is kind of the beginning of our naturalist lab. Okay, we don't want to go too thick on this, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of algae with the tip of the scalpel. There's a little bit of, looks like some other sort of vegetation that's in here. Where's my cover slip? Dang, I grabbed like 7 of them. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to move that off. Put it right on the slide. I'll put that on there. Stuff that back down. And close this back up. And we're going to take a cover slip. Oh, we already got one on there. And just squash it. It's known as a squash mount. All right, so we got a couple slides. Look at. Let me go turn the microscope on. Okay. All right, one sec. Oh, I lost the Black Magic switchboard. Sometimes doesn't like it when I switch views and I have to plug it up and unplug it again. There we go. That's not fun. Give me 1 second. I don't mean to flash you guys like that. There we go. That's a little better. Nope. Okay, give me a second. Alrighty, so we're gonna put that in there. So this is that pond water, that bin water I was telling you about. And we're gonna move things around. All right, so looks like just a bunch of dirt. That's what we got going on right now. Just a bunch of dirt. All right, so not terribly impressed with just looking at the dirt. We're gonna zoom in a little bit. Yeah, it looks like more dirt.
Yeah, but you don't have any like crazy weird things going on, which is a good sign. And I think you should tell them about the plant inspector dropping in today and how we're kind of uniquely situated to provide soil that is disease and virus free. And
we can talk about that for sure.
I think that would be cool.
What's that?
And how more mushroom farms can jump on that bandwagon, you know.
Last time I did this,
It's like a little wing. Something right? No, never mind.
Last time we did this, I found a bunch of stuff moving around.
Did you find like dragonfly larvae? Or
I didn't find any on the microscope last time. I've definitely found a lot of dragonfly larvae.
I thought we found like a lacewing or.
No.
Okay.
We found a lacewing, not through the microscope though. So, all right. So we're just gonna look at the hair algae next. Let me grab it. Hopefully this will be a little prettier. So this is just hair algae. Kind of neat to see the cells in there.
Also makes for a really neat mulch mat around your garden beds. It's a neat texture on the background.
Yeah, I was thinking so. That's just the humidity, I think.
Yeah, still it's really an attractive modeling going on. Kind of looks like hair.
I mean, it is called hair algae. Well, let's find a good spot to zoom in a little. Here we go. I think I've got a short in this cable. No, it's all right. Just a little annoying. That's kind of neat. Check that out. You can see the cells there. Let's go in one more layer, shall we? Yeah, you can see the cell walls there. Dang it, I really think I've got to shorten this cable. It sucks. How does it look on the big screen, Samantha? Can you see that? That cell wall right there?
Yes, no, it's a bit muddy.
Yeah, it's definitely
I don't know
muddy.
if you can get a light a little bit more behind it. It might It might refract to the point where you can't focus, though. I don't know. You're getting better.
I can try.
Well, this is a whole other art to itself. Like, it takes time and patience to do my microscope work.
It does. A lot of times upgrading your light source is about the best thing you can do for microscope work. I'm going to try to get this this group of cell walls in focus here.
That looks a lot better.
Well, but then when I go to up close, I don't know if my lens is dirty or what. That's as bright as I can get the light.
Even that looks better, though, than there's a higher contrast. There you go. Up, go back. Just a little bit. That looks good to me. That looks nice.
Oh, that is nice.
There you go.
Dang it, now I wish there was
Take a picture of that.
I wish I had a card in the camera to take a picture of it.
Okay. Where are the cards? Where can I find them for you?
I don't know. I've moved everything around.
You've moved everything around. It's causing me some.
Yeah, Samantha's getting a little. She doesn't like the moving everything around.
Reality doesn't match my muscle memory anymore, so I'm getting aggravated.
Yeah, the muscle memory is it's real. Like I'll go to do something, I just start walking into another room, and then where we've moved everything around, it's like, oh no.
Particularly the trash can.
I do like that. I mean, the good news is, Samantha, we got plenty of hair algae. We can do this again and take photos. So I'm not like I don't need it right this second. But that is nice. You can see the cell walls plainly. You can see the chlorophyll. I don't actually know in algae what all those organelles are. But I don't know. That's pretty neat.
This is where you give yourself the opportunity to learn.
Yeah. Absolutely it is. All right, so we'll make a couple more, but the Mushroom King on Planet X. Which one's on Planet X? You know, because I already know the Mushroom King on Earth. That's me. You know. Be humble. Let's see. Just inoculated my first 2 jars of grain spawn yesterday. Well, congratulations. You have now been bitten by the bug.
You say jars?
Couple of jars of grain spawn. Yep.
Shake them frequently.
Samantha said, shake them frequently. It'll keep you from having it built up to a point that you can't get it free.
And break the jar.
Yeah, I've broken many a jar. You also can't use jars indefinitely. Some people don't realize that. All right, so here I've got some what's called salvinia. And there's a couple of different structures that I want to look at. So these leaves have a lot of hairs on them. So I kind of want to look at that. And then we can do, Samantha's a lot better at cutting the really thin slices than I am. But these things also have an incredible root system, as you can see right here. And I thought we might look at some of the aquatic roots as well. And then hopefully, as we go on, I'll be able to we'll do some liquid culture too, since Samantha left us some here.
You can experiment with this one.
I can experiment with this one? Okay.
The others are mine.
The others are hers. Okay, so we get to experiment with the Saratoga gold oyster. Okay.
This can be the beginning of your breeding program to turn it into a...
Well, I'm not going to breed it from the mycelium.
But you can grow it out.
Well, not from the syringe I'm about to use.
What are you doing with the syringe you're about to use?
I'm going to look at it under the microscope. Question. So I have 2 Marthas, a 4x4, and a 2x2 tent. Assuming humidity levels would be equal, do you think that a single large house with hydrofogger with splitters would cheaper better than 4 humidifiers? I mean, oh, I see. Like you're talking about getting one and then a backup and splitting it. Yeah, as long as you can control the, the way, like as long as you can control the split well. And one of the ways to do that is, they have restrictors for ventilation and stuff that you can use. And that would actually help a lot, probably. But I think that it could be done, and it would be cheaper, and it would be electrical wise a lot, probably a lot more efficient. I don't know if that was roots or algae. We're gonna cut that right there. That is some of the stem material. But yeah, I think that would work out really, really well. You would just need to make sure that you've got good control over the vents. And I think as you get bigger, the humidifiers get more affordable, so to speak. Like you're not going to spend as much money getting the same amount of humidity if you get the larger one. You certainly, I think, would save on shipping. Oh, I love that snap. All right, I'm going to answer a couple of questions before I get back over to the microscope. But yeah, I think that would work really well, Stephen. Donovan, yo, Andrew, hope y'all doing good. The microscope is so cool. Thank you. Can you give us a breakdown of breeding basics? I know what you mean. I keep coming across conflicting sources. Mushroom breeding, I mean. Yeah, sure. Okay, give me one sec. So, Samantha, can you hand me another color or two of the Artesas?
You want highly contrasting? Or?
Sure, give me something that'll contrast. Like an orange or a pink or I don't know, whatever will contrast with green, teal.
I think that applies to
Yeah, some of these are dry, so. Yeah, this one works.
I think the blue will work. No?
Yeah, it's working. Yeah, barely.
Here's a purple one.
Probably need to get.
I want to toss the blue one.
Okay, toss it. You'd already given me a purple, though.
Yeah, that's like a maroon, so that was not great.
It's okay. Give me like an orange.
Orange?
Sure, we'll try it. And then I'm going to answer this much the same way. Yeah, that one works great. Thank you.
That is fluorescent.
That's what I want. All right. So, I'm going to give you an idea here, Donovan. We're going to go with green for our basic color. So you've got your mushroom bag here, right, with your substrate in it. And we're growing, let's just say for, our sake, you're growing green oyster mushrooms here, okay? Cool, you got your green oyster mushrooms. Now, there's a couple of different ways to do this. Actually, there's 2 or 3 different ways, but the idea is that you're going to take this and you're going to spore print it, and you're going to get your spores to your media. You can do it by spore streak. You can do it by spore syringe. There's different ways of doing that. I won't go into that right now unless that's what you're asking me for. But so basically you have this, and I'm not sure what conflicting information you're coming across. So if I'm not answering your question, let me know. But you're going to get spores from this. You've got all these little green spores, and now you're going to take, if you get a single spore on a dish, that is now growing. Actually, I wish I had done that in a different color, because this strain will not be the same as this green, right? But let's just say it's descended green. Okay, great. A single spore, that's half a mushroom right there. You're now going to take something. You will take another spore, and you have that, and that's now two different strains. Oh my gosh, I just circle, dotted, accidentally. Atas. Oh my God. This is turning really, it's going to give me a freaking, well, we are talking about breeding. Okay, so, I know, right? Okay, that's not what I meant to do.
Sure.
Give me a paper towel. I'm turning red. Okay, it makes sense, right? Yeah, it works. That's mammal breeding signals. Okay, let me start over. We're gonna do this one more time. Okay. How did Sydney over Singleton do it? Okay, we're gonna grow. Here's our mushroom bag. This will be simpler. Okay. Now, you can grow these mushrooms. These are now purple oyster mushrooms, and they're putting out spores. Now, what you want to do is take a single spore. Now, there's ways to do that. There's spore dilution, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of times people will just breed a multi-spore syringe, where you take a spore print and you put it into liquid, and then you put a few drops on agar, or you can put it into your media, like a PF Tech kind of thing. Now, if you've got a mushroom bag here, and let's say that you take these spores via a multi-spore syringe, right? You're going to have different colonies that form, right? And each one of those colonies will produce, different mushrooms that are not really related to each other. And they won't fuse together. Right? So now you have all these different types of oysters, right? Represented by the different colors and markers, etc. Now, you can clone each one of those, and now you have a new strain of oyster mushroom. But you've really just kind of bred one of these mushrooms to itself. This species, or this strain, you just bred it to yourself if you just do a multi-spore syringe like that. So what a lot of people like to do is they'll take, instead of doing it that way, they will take a spore from two different sources. So if we've got another bag over here, right? So now you want these two together. So what you would do is you would take a single spore and a single spore, and you would have those in plates. And it's a little difficult, or it's really tedious, more so than difficult, to get a single spore isolate. But if you have a single spore in a dish, you grow that out. That's what's known as a monokaryote, okay? The monokaryote means that it has half the genetic information. This one has half the genetic information. They will still grow mycelium, but they won't fruit. Now, if they fuse So they grow together, which means that you just put them into a dish together, and now they're going to grow a new mushroom, right? And this new strain, because you've now allowed them to meet. So you cut a wedge from this mycelium, and you put them in a plate together. And that would just look like, this one's growing here. This one's growing here. And they're going to fuse somewhere in that in-between space. Once they fuse, I would give them a little bit of time, but you can select for tissue right there along that line and plate that out. And now that they've fused, you have a single organism that now has all the information it needs to actually produce new mushrooms. But if it's haploid or a haploid, meaning it contains half the information by itself, it won't actually be able to produce a mushroom because it's infertile. It doesn't have enough genetic info to work with. That's kind of the basic of it. Now, there are a variety of ways to breed. There's about as many different ways that I know of, and all of them have pros and cons. You've got people that hate multispore and only like spore dilution. You got people who hate spore dilution and only think that multispore is the best way because it's got control. I mean, not multispore, sorry, single spore isolates because it's got control. And they see multispore as chaotic. And then you've got people who don't care if it's chaotic and they go multispore. And then sometimes you want to breed a mushroom. Like if you do a cross, sometimes you'll breed that mushroom to itself 2 or 3 generations to see what kind of hidden traits there are through recessive traits and whatnot. So I hope that helps. If it doesn't, let me know. I'll pull up Sydney over Singleton's. Actually, I wonder, I may have that in my drive. Let me check real quick. Because he actually has a much better explanation, I feel like.
Well, it's just like breeding through mutating pollen or UV exposing through mutating pollen or with seeds. Like there's multiple ways to do it. And some people have preferences over others depending on their pipeline, production pipeline, or time, or even equipment.
Well, I have.
I do like Sydney's because it's very visual.
Yeah, Sydney's is super visual.
I really enjoy that personally.
So let me see. Let me look here. So I want to search mushroom growing, Sydney or Singleton breeding. Got to be careful with your search history, guys. Okay, so this was a long time ago that he did this.
Oh, goodness.
Dang, he's always got so much.
It might be if you look in his images, he might have it saved.
Can I look in his images?
I'm saying that you could.
In the mushroom growing group?
Oh.
I wonder if. Oh my gosh, look at that morel stuff he made. That's crazy. Let me look up. Maybe if I put illustration or illustrate. No, I don't think it's going to give it to me. Dang it. Okay, I've got the file somewhere, guys. I'll have to find it. But I'm not going to find it today, it looks like.
Maybe we can see if Sydney wants to be on a live stream one day.
I would love to have Sydney on a live stream.
He has so many obligations, though. He does such good work.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is he's so busy. I don't know if I could ever get him. Whoa. That's crazy.
You're getting sucked in.
I'm not getting sucked in. I'm still looking. I mean, okay, I was getting sucked in. But...
It's easy to do.
Ha ha! Ha ha ha! This is only one image. Dang it, this is not the image I want. But it's very close. Man, he's actually got quite a few illustrations. If you guys go on Mushroom Growing and look up Sydney over Singleton, you'll see a bunch of stuff. He's got a lot of stuff on breeding too, looks like. Okay, I'm about to give up on it, guys. Dang it. As soon as I say that, there's like one more illustration. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm getting close. Oh. Okay, I got it. It was worth it, guys. It was worth it. Trust me. Did I just download it 4 times? I don't know. Okay, let's get the image file up here. Okay, that's one. And we'll get the other. Excellent. Okay, here we go. So Donovan, I'm going to bring this up. Okay, so here you go. You can see the mushroom up in image 1. And you can show that he's done multicolored spores here. Go to 2, and you can see the representation of the colonies from the spores. He shows a zoom in, and he shows the colonies fusing together down to 3, which that 3 then turns into 4. You see that purple colony, that's what we're looking at. And 3A shows the actual exchange of the genetic material. And you can see how it creates that colony of purple. It does not create a fusion of half one and half the other in this case. There are sac fungi that actually do kind of do that, but we're not worried about that right now. Sac fungi are much harder to breed. So you have that. Now, you go here. When you go to spores, this is a multi-spore, so that's your jar, like for PF Tech. You inject the spores and it creates the colonies. Now, if you take those colonies and you isolate one out, here he's chosen to isolate number 4 out. You then go to 5A, and it shows that orange, once you've cloned this out, right? So spores to dish have multiple colonies. You isolate a colony out. You now create spawn of that, and you spawn a tray. Now you have a uniform tray in 6A. If you go from 1 to 5B, that is a multi-spore injection like PF Tech. And then now you take that, you shake that up, and you spread it. And now you see that you have in 6B a tray that has the dominant colonies that appeared with a much larger amount of variability in the mushrooms. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I answer the question better with Sydney's illustration than my own and the circle, circle, dot, dots. But there you go. That is a representation of the mushroom breeding. Now, let's see. Oh, I want to. Okay, so the idea there is that there's a couple of different ways to do it, right? Now, spore isolation requires typically what's called serial dilution. And yeah, I feel you, Plum. But serial dilution, which is where you would take spores, you would put them in sterile water, and then what you would do is you would go from, I think people typically do, you've got the spores in the water, you then dilute it by 10 times, then by 100 times, and by 1,000 times is the way I think most people do it. Though you will find that every mushroom breeder or any sort of breeder tends to have their own way of doing things, slight variations. And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to take droplets of the 10 times diluted, the 100 times diluted, and the 1,000 times diluted, and you're going to put some droplets on your plates, like a single drop. You can do then what's called a cell spreader and push it around. A cell spreader looks like a little hockey stick. It's typically the piece of plastic that's sterilized via gamma radiation. And you can take that, put it in your plate, and just whip it around, and that just moves the water around, thereby your spores. And the reason why you're wanting to do 10 times, 100 times, and 1,000 times is because you don't know how many spores you're actually putting in that water. So you don't know if 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times is the proper amount to get a single spore isolated by itself. And then you watch those plates every day, and the moment that you see growth, you transfer that growth to a new plate. And that what you're hoping is that you're getting a single spore growth that has no other information with it now, or no other spores with it to give it any more information. And then you can slant that. Like you can literally make culture slants and store that monokaryote. And now you have that monokaryote, that haploid, that half an organism in long-term storage where you can pull it out and mate it to as many different other monokaryotes as you want. That is the way that it is typically done. But again, you've got different ways to do it. There's a reason why mushroom breeding is not for the faint of heart, and there's a reason why new cultures typically cost a fair amount, and people don't really realize how much goes into it. It's a lot. It's a lot of plastic. The main thing though is the work. What you're dealing with is usually cheap materials, but it's a lot of knowledge, and it's just a lot of heavy lifting, just a lot of brute forcing. But there are people that do simpler methods with good results. I bought a bag ready to grow from you a while back and loved it. Just finally starting to try and do it from almost scratch. Excellent, Michael. From scratch, people who do grow bags, that's great. I think it's a great way to get connected with it. But I love the process more than I love the growing. I like the process more than I like the growing. And I think that's, it's to each his own. But I think that you'll find that it's going to scratch that itch when you do it from scratch. What size disc fogger would you suggest for this capacity? I'm running pans, other silos, and gourmet. Thanks, buddy. Let's see. You said a 4x4 and a 2x2, 10 disc. I always go big. So 10 disc or 12 disc will be plenty. That means you're really running a 6x6, though. You probably can get away with a 6 disc, but if you're going to split it, here's the thing. If you go a little heavier than you really need, then it's just going to run a little less, and it'll save you some electricity, basically. So that's kind of the way I would do it. I think a 10 disc is what I would suggest there, just because you're splitting it. If you weren't splitting it and you had a 6x6 space, like a 12 disc fogger is enough for me for an 12 by 20 grow room. So a 6 disc will probably do you fine, but a 10 disc is probably what I would go for. Yeah, Donovan, you're very welcome. I appreciate that. I really do. I like being told I rock, actually. Plum says I'm lost, but now I am found. Well, hopefully that helped out. Love those illustrations. Sydney does a great job. Sydney is a hell of an educator, and he's got a hell of a heart for it too. Barbara, I think my head's gonna explode. It can be a lot. It can be a lot. It's not as complicated. Like if I was to explain it better, I should have explained it simpler. I wasn't quite ready to explain that. My head's been in other spaces, but it's not as complicated as I made it seem, number one, but it is a lot. It's a lot to take in to begin with, especially since it's got some different processes in it. Like it's pretty simple if when we understand animal breeding, which is just sperm and egg and male and female, and then the animals do all the heavy lifting. But with the mushrooms, they can spawn, so to speak. And it's still kind of that idea of two parents, but it can get a lot more complicated when you get into the sexes. because, well, I guess they don't really have sexes, but mating types. And not every mating type will work with the other mating type. So it can get way more complicated, Barbara. But mushroom breeding is definitely one of those things. It takes a lot of work to get to.
Then we have to go into the subject of child support.
Go into the subject of child caring for the strains.
Yeah.
Samantha calls that child support.
We need people to buy our strains so that we can have.
Samantha said we need people to buy our strains so we can pay child support to keep them all up.
Strain support.
Strain support. There we go.
Yeah.
Have you ever lost a whole fruiting room due to mold or bacteria? Do you mean a single crop? Or, I mean, no, I've not lost a whole crop. But
because the humidifier.
We have because the humidifier decided to quit and they all dried out. I've never lost one fully to contamination, but I've lost nearly an entire crop to contamination before. It happens to everybody, I think, for the most part. If you grow big, I mean, you want to see one thing, like, actually, I don't even know if people could see it anymore. I think I saved a bunch of the information when I was in the Commercial Mushroom Growers Network. But Wind River, they went up there and they were trying to do bed agriculture of oysters and things like that, shiitake, etc. And they had a neurospore outbreak. And I mean, they paid millions for this farm. And just like, they had a really hard time with it. They almost lost everything with it.
A lot of that will be chosen and culled out in the incubation area.
So said a lot of that will be chosen and culled out in the incubation area. And that's true. It's one of the reasons why I like bags, is because, you can see it really well. You see if your crops get underlying contamination, you can remove that. But as far as the grow room, like bacteria or mold growing across things, that usually means that your room's too wet. You have too little airflow, and or you had a really bad underlying infection that you didn't realize.
You've got someone who has bad or poor glove discipline, where they're going through and they're finding one bag out of 150, 300. That one bag is bad, and instead of getting rid of it, washing their hands, changing their gloves, going back and harvesting, they've decided to harvest that thing, throw it in a bucket or in the wherever to discard it, and then they're taking their same gloves and they're touching every subsequent bag. Yeah,
you'll have people in the grow, like we used to do, go through and remove all the bad mushrooms, change your gloves, then go through and start harvesting. But yeah, you like cross-contamination of wearing your gloves from one task to another. Like gloves are not, like the gloves are there so that you can take the glove off and the bacteria is not on the new glove that you put on, right? It's to prevent cross-contamination. It's not to prevent you from contaminating, or even it's not even really to prevent you from contaminating stuff or stuff to contaminate you. It's to help prevent cross-contamination. So, hey, what's up, Sporadic? It's Ben. Child support, Plum says, and he's laughing. I'm currently fishing, hoping for flounder or sheep's head. I've never had sheep's head. I've only had flounder, but I suspect it was probably frozen when I had it. But good luck fishing. I need to go fishing. I need to go fishing bad. All right, we're going to switch over back to the microscope as soon as I can figure out how. If I could only get 6 of your strains right now to grow out and take to a farmer's market, which would you suggest I get? They all look so good. Samantha, come here and answer this fellow's question.
6 strains to a farmer's market?
Yeah, you answer it while I set it the microscope.
I mean, how much diversity are you looking for?
You're just going to have to...
Because we have, behind us, we have like 600 strains. I mean, there's a lot of strains over there, and it keeps going down that hallway. So you're going to have to help me narrow it down. Just saying.
Well, just give your 6 basic. If they're asking, then this may be their first 6. So somebody's first 6 to take to market.
So I would do probably Hericiums, and I would choose a nice lion's mane like Tribbles that is pretty diverse as far as its ability to tolerate different temperatures. And then I would do something like a comb's tooth or a coraloides that's really branched. That way you have 2 different textures. That, to me, really brings people to your table when you have something that looks different but the same. And they always say that it looks like cauliflower, which I think is really funny. But then, so there's 2 hericiums, and then I would choose probably a white golden enoki or the Appalachian enoki. That one's really aggressive. The white enoki as well. That one actually we've been given permission from Jacob Howard to sell his strain with a kickback toward him to help him continue breeding with child support.
But what strain are you saying?
The white enoki. We have a white enoki from Jacob, and it's the most aggressive one. We have white enokis from elsewhere too, but Jacob's is the one that I like the best. And I would choose a white enoki and a gold enoki. And those don't give you heavy flushes, but they're really good. And at a farmer's market, a lot of people really enjoy those. And if you can't sell them fast enough, you can dehydrate them, and they smell like apricots. Like, they smell really good. So that's a value added one that if you can't sell it all, you can make some value added products out of it that are highly desirable. So that's 4. And then I would choose King Blue, and then probably Pearly White or Yeti's Breath. It's like a white and a blue. That would give you, across multiple strains, a huge diversity for everyone. A lot of people like all oysters, and they like to choose between the different colors of the oysters, or they like to have multiple blues or multiple whites or even gold and pink. But in my experience in the summer, golds tend to grow really, really fast. And if you're not growing them in the spring or the fall, they're not growing as densely, and they crumble really, really badly. And pinks just don't have the shelf life. So it's and they get a little smelly and musky too in the heat at a farmer's market. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, and if you want all oysters, then maybe get 2 blues like King Blue or Rocky Top that will just, or BS26. That's another one. That's a blue snow cross, and that one's really aggressive. It also kind of changes color based on the temperature in your room. So it can either be really, really like electric blue, or it can be like sort of a dulled gray blue. So I think that depending on where it's at in your room, and if you have multiple rooms, maybe you've invested a lot of money into all the temperature gear in one room, but not so much in another, you can have one strain and make it look like 2, if that makes sense. You can also, with the enokis, you can grow it 2 separate ways and make one enoki look like 2 different strains. And that's probably my favorite, taking one really aggressive strain and then growing it in multiple ways. Oh, that looks really cool, Andrew. You're getting a little fuzzy. Right there, it cleared up pretty well. But you've got these overlapping cells, so
it'd be nice
that makes it a little difficult.
Well, that's where I would need to slice it thin, and I'm going to try that here in a little bit.
But yeah, my favorite thing is to grab one strain and then manipulate its grow environment to make it look like multiple strains. That way you can stretch your dollar a little bit further. And honestly, buying a $30 syringe from us and all the tutorial videos that Andrew's put out there, you ought to be able to take $30 and turn it into $300,000. I mean, it's just a matter of loving your
pretty
strains.
ambitious.
Andrew, we've had multiple customers who have done that easily.
I know.
And honestly, we used to do really well whenever we were selling at the farmers market and the restaurants and online, and we were doing mentorships, and it gets to be a lot. So I think that growing mushrooms and delivering to the restaurants is quite honestly ambitious enough. And then you've seen Andrew and I kind of pare things back, go into the genetics, and then now into the education side of things, and then seeing how the mushroom farm can feed into other farms. And I think that's really important work. What is that? Ooh, that's a good one. You're like on three layers there, essentially. You've got a nice foreground, middle ground, and background there.
Look at all the tiny hairs.
Yeah, plum eat, repeat. Pink oysters are a great pork alternative, but it's hard to beat bacon or pork chops. If I were to highlight this, it says
Just
show.
click on it.
Okay. Oh, cool. Hey, I'm learning. So yeah, I love the pinks, but I love picking them straight off of the bag in the grow room and then cooking them immediately. I do not like pinks if they have any sort of shelf life on them whatsoever, unless I put them straight in the dehydrator. Pick them, put them straight in the dehydrator. Or if there's a CSA and they come in and they want a pink, I'm like, hey, go and cook this one first. Save the white or the blue oysters for tomorrow or the day after. Or put these, in a I had a friend who put her pinks, she drizzled it in olive oil and put it in an air fryer, and they were so good. Like that's probably the closest to the bacon aspect. But yeah, it definitely doesn't beat the bacon or pork chops. Are you? Yeah, the battery's about to die. I see it. It's blinking. Oh, that was a good one. What is that?
That's the roots.
That's the roots of what?
The salvinia.
Ooh, I like that a lot. And I'm going to probably try y'all's strains. Thanks a ton. Yeah, and going back to the strain support, there's a lot of strains that we have that have promise that I would really, really like to highlight. But we have the kind of the Mossy Creek, the MCM originals.
Hey, there's some bugs.
Or the classics.
You see it crawling around on the root?
I do. That's funny. I do think that's a testament, though, of, you can see the glass from the scratches from the slide. Yeah, it's a testament, though, to have all of our substrate is either autoclaved or pasteurized, and then it goes out and we plant in it, and then we're getting into the plant tissue culture on top of the fungal culture and everything else. And I just like the fact that we can kind of put things out into the world that you can kind of trust that's virus free, free of bacteria and that sort of thing. Yeah, ooh, they're fighting. Fight. A lot of this is aquatic. Yeah. Andrew just knows that the battery is blinking. He's just trying to get as much as he can for you guys to be able to see.
We're just playing around with the new studio setup.
Yeah, and sort of delving into how you can take fungi and expand it out into other income streams so that you can stack your income streams from the waste product of your farm, and then you can support you can support other avenues that may not make money within a specific season, and then have something else that can make money and fill that void, essentially. So just biodiversity, diversifying income, all of it. But yeah, and I do this. Andrew's better at talking succinctly. But going back to the strains, there's a lot of them that haven't received the popularity and the support, so they're just kind of on the back burner in slants and storage. And then BS26, King Blue, a lot of the more famous strains that Andrew is known for, those are being duplicated and expanded, and a lot of effort is being put into making multiple backups to make sure that they can last years and even generations to come. That is so neat to sit there and watch it.
Well, I'll just leave it then.
Can you imagine we just have a flat plane that we walk on? Can you imagine having to walk on MC Etcher's painting, essentially? That would be insane.
It would be insane. Let's see. There we go. Those are, there's some sort of animal, but they're like single cell animal, I think. Yeah, it's about to go out. I always heard Mr. Mushroom was a fun guy. Just join. What are we looking at here? Miros, that was some roots of a plant called Salvinia, which is an aquatic plant. And so we got the new studio set up. That's probably something you missed. And so we're playing around with cameras and switchboards and stuff. So we got the new inventory and supply shelves that go down the hall. What was the office and break room area is now a new lab. I think I can show you guys without destroying the setup. So there's the labs. There's the bookshelves that are normally behind me. There is the cinema camera that is on a dolly, so I can move it around and stuff. We have a new packing table and equipment table. And then I got my sign hung up. I need to clean my vents. I noticed that while I was up there hanging stuff. And then let me show.
I think we should 3D print vents that we can throw in the dishwasher.
Oh, dang it.
And then do multiples so we can just switch them.
Oh, my gosh. Why is it not? There we go. Okay. And then we have like this set up here. So I was just drawing on this, but we've put whiteboard on the lab tables. We got these for like, I think it was $18 or something like that for a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of whiteboard material. And then we just tacked it to our lab tables. It's wipeable. It is easily scratched, but at $18, I'm okay with that. Just don't scratch it. Which she's probably a lot better at not scratching stuff than I am. I'm really hard on stuff, but that's okay because again, I'll just replace it if I need to. But it gives me a nice wipeable surface, but it also gives me a better teaching surface. I'm working on like a crane cam, and so we got that, like I said, the camera on the dolly. We were just looking at the camera that was on the microscope over there. I've been prepping slides over here, just kind of playing around with stuff. Hey, Sam, in the new office area where we had the power bank on top of that chest of drawers thing, there should be camera batteries. If you'll grab me one, I can probably keep going. We will put a couple droplets. There we go. So we'll put some mycelium, some liquid culture under the microscope. We had some, was looking at some bladderwort earlier, which is an underwater predatory plant, which is pretty neat. They got these little nodules on them, and they like suck in little baby fish and bugs and such. They're super neat looking.
Yeah,
3 of them? Okay.
I'm not sure which ones.
These are all too big. These are for the cinema camera.
Oh.
I think Aislinn actually, when she took it to track, she took all my little batteries. Well, I may not be able to look at stuff then. I don't know. The camera's still on. Huh?
Where's the camera?
Of course you do it. Dang it. All right. I'm going to try to get this on there before the battery dies. So looking at gill tissue and things like that under the microscope is super cool. I have a lot of fun. Microscope work is some of my favorite. I'm looking to do, Alan Rockefeller was talking a lot about doing the focus stacking, and I would really like to try to do some of that. Let me see. Okay. I'm actually using my phone as the monitor, so it works really well actually to do it. But actually, I realize I may not be talking to the microphone over there. Let's find some mycelium. Right there looks like some. So this is golden oyster liquid culture. And let's see. There you go. Still in a slightly 3D environment. I didn't really push. Normally what you would do what's called a squash mount, where you would press down on it. I didn't press very hard. Let's see. We'll zoom in one more time. Hopefully before the camera dies. And please feel free to critique me if you know more about microscopes than I do. I would love to learn even more than what I know. Okay, so this is a neat little structure. Let me see if I can get it into focus. Oh, wrong way. Okay. So that structure right there, that little nodule that comes off the side, that's what's called a clamp connection. I wonder if I get closer to it. Oh, that's my oil immersion lens. There we go.
You want to plug this up?
Huh?
You want to plug this up? She said that you have to charge them on.
So clamp connection is where when a mushroom breeds, or the oyster mushroom breeds, it basically needs to be able to move genetic information from one side to the other of that cell wall. So when it does, dang, somebody has twisted this thing. All right, cool. We got some battery going, charging right now. But the clamp connection allows it to pass information during mating, basically. So it gives it a way to move that big old nuclei that's in the center around the cell wall, because there may basically a little valve in there, and that's too small to allow that nucleus to pass through. And that circular thing there, that's just an air bubble.
Hey.
So you can see the air bubbles and stuff fairly easily. There's some specks. There's probably some sugar. If we went in and kept searching, we'd probably find some sugar crystals and metabolite crystals. Let's see. Okay. So, yeah, I agree. That's one of the reasons why I like microscopes, is that you really get to see some things that are just kind of strange and alien, which, I mean, is kind of one of the reasons I like getting into mushrooms in the first place, is you get to see things that are foreign and alien and just all kinds of non-expected sometimes. Thanks, Woody. I wonder if we are being observed by more advanced beings, much like how we observe bacteria and microscopic critters. Probably a different mechanism, but I could see it happening. There are people that think that those machine elves and stuff that people see in like DMT trips are, or what do they call it? The Grand Carnival or something like that. That stuff may be where they're observing us, or that the veil between worlds might be. I don't know. Who knows?
I think that's the mind playing tricks on you.
You think that's Savannah says she thinks that's the mind playing tricks on you? I don't know. I definitely think that there might be things bigger than us out there. Are they observing us? Maybe. Are they not? I don't know. do the things like, I mean, I'm being pretty destructive when I'm viewing something under a microscope. I'm crushing its world. So it's pretty cataclysmic. So I think that if something like that was going on, we would notice. But maybe not, right? It's something to think about. That sounds like what was that? Not the scary door. The scary door is from Futurama. The Twilight Zone. It sounds like a Twilight Zone episode. How's the slime molds and spalting? Doing really well. I've got some logs I'm about to rip open. The camera just died. I got some logs I'm about to rip open. I was hoping to do it on a stream this week, but I've got obligations that require the studio. So I've worked on the studio more. Hopefully next week, I would like to rip open some. My plan next week is to chainsaw some logs down, like resaw them down. We're going to look at some walnut. I want to look at some walnut that had turkey tail on it. I want to look at some flaming dragon fungus logs. I want to kerf cut some and add some. Well, actually, I need to make new flaming dragon fungus spawn. And then what else? The turkey tail and walnut's the one I'm most excited about because I want to see what the darker wood looks like if it's been bleached by a bleach fungi. I think so. Hey, there's Jacob Howard. I just got a microscope objective adapter for my DSLR. Looking forward to taking some macro pictures of mushrooms. Yeah, let me show you mine.
We were just talking about you, Jacob.
We were just talking about you, Jacob. All good.
And the white adobe.
Yeah, I really like my trinocular one, but so I've got my DSLR, and then you've got just a little Canon adapter with an objective in it. Oh, cool, Samantha. Oh, hold on.
It's your monocle.
Yeah, it just kind of clicks in like a regular lens would, and then it just fits into an eyepiece. I don't remember how much this was. It was not terribly expensive. I got it on Amscope's website. They have a Nikon, Sony, and Canon version, or maybe there's a version that fits two styles. I always go on Canon because I didn't want to become the world's greatest photographer. I just wanted a camera that was good. And so I got Canon's always had really good autofocus. And that was what I wanted to get into. But man, it's super cool, Jacob. Like it's so much fun. And plus, you might find yourself looking at everything else too. Like I find myself looking at bugs and pond water and mushrooms and plastic and.
Are you saying that you can't become the world's greatest photographer with a camera?
You can become the world's greatest photographer probably with any type of camera, but
I don't think Canon would appreciate that.
no, I'm just saying that Canon makes it easy.
Oh, okay.
They can't see that camera right now, anyways.
That's what I'm saying. Way too zoomed up.
Way too zoomed up. Yeah, I'm not actually using it. I'm just playing around with the switchboard, trying stuff out, forcing them to go through me playing with stuff. We were playing with the microscope just a minute ago with the.
Oh yeah, I actually did look in the one of the pockets and found another battery that wasn't it.
You did find another battery?
Yeah, I put it in the camera, and I finally got to see the photos that I took of the last couple track meets, and I really want to download them and print them out because.
Well, we want to have a print service print them out. So.
Yeah, I know.
Should see if you can catch some oysters going for nematodes under the microscope? I would like to do that. I think what I would do is probably raise some nematodes up and put the mycelium out, there and see if I can't see it under the slide for sure. Yeah, like just give them, you don't want it too concentrated because if it's too busy, you can't see stuff very well with the microscope. And that's the thing is with the microscope, you got to isolate stuff. So it would probably take a long time. I would love to see that, but that would be a lot of patient work. But as a wildlife photographer enthusiast, I do a lot of as much wildlife photography as I can get away with. That cinema camera and my telephoto lens allows me to get I got some really cool shots of vultures and stuff. Looks like I'm right up on them in slow motion, them tearing stuff apart. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could sit there and just go through slide after slide, and it would probably be worth it. How much was your microscope setup's also cool? Let's see. So this is a little bit more expensive setup. You don't need anything this expensive really to get started if you just want to look at cool stuff. Amscope definitely has some like $150 or less microscopes. If you get them on Black Friday, you can get good deals, really good deals. This trinocular microscope was probably $800.
Well, that was like
But
50% off on Black Friday.
it was 50% off on Black Friday, or no, a Christmas deal, and my parents paid a significant portion of it as a Christmas gift.
Well, multiple Christmases.
As like, yeah, I think I don't know if it was like 2 Christmases or what or something, but or what exactly, but I ended up kicking in a little bit of cash myself and not much, because there was such a good deal, and they got that for me for Christmas. And then you've got your DSLRs. If a DSLR can be pretty expensive, this is a Canon 80D. You can find 80Ds used to on mbp.com, relatively cheap, and they've lasted me years, and they've got a lot of really good functionality, and they can take some really nice, and they take 4K video, or no, I'm sorry, 1080p, which is what YouTube used to push. I think it still does. Is the video 4K on the 80D? I don't know. My Blackmagic is a 6K camera, which is absurd. I don't ever use the 6K. You don't need it. YouTube at most will push 4K. I don't think they push anything that's like most monitors can't see 6K anyways. Let's see. But so it can be pretty expensive, but this is it's an accumulation of years. Like I got the Canon 80D 10 years ago or so. The microscope was a gift. That's like my personal microscope that my parents got me for Christmas. And then the DSLR adapter, I think, was like $60 back in the day. So, but again, you can get good stuff on Amscope, like student scopes. I've got a student scope from them that I paid like $80 for, or something like that. And then maybe another $80 in upgraded LED lighting for it. And then you have a stereoscope. And it really depends on what you want to look at, because I've got a stereoscope and I have the compound scopes, and you're going to use different ones for different things. Most people are going to find a stereo, or what's also known as a dissecting scope. Those are usually cheaper, and most people are going to find those more useful than a compound scope. Compound scopes take a little bit more skill. They take supplies like slides and stains. They take, they're usually a little bit more upfront cost themselves, and you're wanting to you get a very thin field of view. So basically, like, your images are coming in very narrow slices, your focus depth, and whereas a stereoscope allows you to see a lot more things. It allows you can get quite the view. If you want to see mites on mushrooms, if you want to see spores germinating, you can actually see very early growth. Like before you can see it with your naked eye, you can scan a plate with the stereoscope and absolutely get nice moves, Brody, and absolutely get like what you're wanting to see. So there's a lot of it. In fact, I had I saw one of them pop up on the Facebook when we were looking. I saw one of my photos of mushroom breeding pop up. Have you heard of the bolete mushroom that if you eat uncooked, you see little people with, and we don't know why? I saw a video that someone just published, I feel like recently, where they said that. But I've seen those boletes out there. I've never eaten one. So I've got no experience with it. Off topic at the moment, if you were starting a mushroom farm, mushrooms are never off topic on this channel. Off topic at the moment, if you were starting a mushroom farm in a new city, how would you gauge if there's enough unmet demand to justify starting an op in that area? I really wouldn't. I don't know that I would worry exactly about unmet demand. What I would look at is the metro and see what the size of the metro is. You know, if there's 100,000 people living in the area, then it ought to be fairly easy for me to get in there and make a good chunk of change off the mushroom game, even if there are other people growing, because there are a lot of different types of mushrooms. And you can always grow a more expensive, slower mushroom, or a more expensive, faster mushroom, or just something different. You can go to them. Heck, sometimes you can offer services to the mushroom farms that are already there. If you don't know much yourself, you might see if you can get employed by the mushroom farms. There's a lot of different options to go. And I don't think that you have to look at it as unmet necessarily, because if you try to call restaurants, they might say, oh, we want mushrooms, or no, we don't use mushrooms. When I first started, a lot of restaurants didn't want to buy at all. And they said, let me tell you, I love fresh mushrooms from small growers, but small growers are inconsistent. And then I started growing, and I grew well for years. And then when new people started selling, you know, my chefs went, hey, can you go down in price? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, I'm going to go with this guy because he's 50 cents cheaper than you. And I went, that's great. I just want to remind you that what you told me when you first bought from me, which was that mushroom growers were inconsistent. So if this guy ends up being inconsistent, I'll be here waiting for you. Lo and behold, the person was inconsistent. He came back to me. And then I was like, now I'm sorry, my price has gone up because, you know, you were on the grandfathered price kind of thing. So
Because when people are consistent, you can buy it.
yeah, because when people are consistent, you can buy in bulk. But like that was the thing, is that when I brought them in on a price, whenever I went and got new restaurants, I raised my price because obviously I was having trouble producing enough, and I was prioritizing these guys. And, you know, whatever, I don't really need to explain it too much. It's just, you know, I had that kind of loyalty to them. If they weren't going to have the same loyalty back to me, and it was about cash, then it was about cash, which I get. It's absolutely, there's no hurt feelings kind of thing. Now that said, you can look at your restaurants. One of the things that you can do is go to type in the city name in Google, fine dining, right? Now what you want to look for is, okay, so let's say I've got Knoxville on one side of me and Morristown on the other side. Okay. Morristown's a fairly sizable town, and it's an industrial town. So there's a fair amount of money from factory workers. Now, when I look for fine dining in Morristown, I find a lot more stuff like Olive Garden, Tennessee Jack's, Longhorn Steakhouse, that kind of thing, right? Like chains, like nicer chains, a little more expensive chains, but chains nonetheless. Those chains are never going to buy from me. But if you look up Knoxville and you look it up, now you do fine dining, you can find a ton of restaurants that are a little bit more expensive, and they're non-chain. They're typically chef-owned or chef-operated, or where the chefs have a lot of freedom. That's the kind of place you want. And so that's what I would do as far as market research. But in fact, every mentorship I do or consultation I do, a lot of times we'll look at your town and I'll go, here's what I'm seeing. Here's the restaurants I would target. I've even called a couple with mentees before when we talked to them and been like, hey, what we're doing, we're setting up a farm for these guys, blah, 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 et cetera. So that's the kind of research I would do. Sometimes chefs don't even know that something's available, or that they're going to want it when it's available, or they're going to want it when they see their friends using it, or they're going to want it when they see it at the farmer's market. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of different ways to go about it. And of course, what I would look at too is how nice are the markets. If you want to be a market vendor, markets have a lot of work, and you give up your weekends whenever you have markets, at least the early portion of Saturday, sometimes the early portion of Sunday. And I didn't do Sunday markets because I went to church. So the biggest thing you're looking at there would be, yes, I'm getting retail prices. I'm getting $20 a pound for my oysters, $25 for lion's mane, that kind of thing. But we're giving up time. And the restaurants were better for us because we could drop off stuff and go during the work day. And then we could pick our kids up after school, and we had the weekends with our kids. So it really kind of depends on your lifestyle and what you're wanting. You can grow fewer mushrooms and make a living at market, but you're going to be putting half of your time is going to be in selling. Whereas with the restaurants, you can spend very little time selling, and you're going to be spending most of your time growing and pushing more growing. And so you can stack efficiencies. And one of those efficiencies, like if I'm going to sit there and I need to make more money and I'm packing bags, instead of packing 100 bags, I can pack 120 bags, and it doesn't really take any longer. Whereas market takes longer, that kind of thing. And so that's the kind of research I would be doing. I just saw a video from a guy who cloned wild orange mock oysters. Jacob, he's in here, or at least he was a minute ago. Mock oysters, and says it tastes like eggs. Intrigued. Yeah, that's Jacob Howard of the Mushroom Shop LLC. Honestly, one of the most talented cultivators I know personally. And he's always got some of the weirdest stuff. And I'm in love with it. The porcelain mushroom, I don't know what it is. He's given it to me 2 or 3 times, and I've never been able to get it clean the way he has. But the couple of times I've been able to grow it, it is seriously one of the weirdest and best tasted mushrooms I've come across. Landmayo asiatica, little people mushroom. Your mate Tom, YouTuber, has an interesting videos. Little people mushroom. Landmayo asiatica. Landmao asiatica. Type of hallucinogenic bolete, and is notable for causing Lilliputian hallucinations, little people hallucinations, when eaten raw. There's a BBC article on it, a Natural History Museum of Utah article on it. It is an ectomycorrhizal symbiote of the Yunnan pine. Is this in China? Landmao. Interesting. Have you ever tried raising freshwater shrimp and lobsters? I have not lobsters. I raise cherry shrimp. I'm actually about to split off a colony, and I'm going to start adding little bits of spent mushroom substrate to the cherry shrimp colony to see if the biofilm that will grow on the spent mushroom substrate will support the cherry shrimp operation. If the cherry shrimp will grow on that biofilm. I suspect they will just fine. The question is whether or not it'll foul the water. I don't know if it'll foul the water if you don't do a ton. And I actually want to do 2 different colonies. One where I dry the substrate and then add it as a powder or a pellet. And then I want to try a different form where it's added fresh. And, who knows what will be a good or bad way to go. A lot of fish people are very, don't want to add fungus to their tanks. But I don't think oyster mushroom fungus is really the problem, we're looking at. So as far as I was talking to a hatchery at one point about raising crayfish, the freshwater ones. You'd have to breed them in brackish water, but then they will grow, and they grow to edible size. But plants are selling. So I'm really just going with stuff that goes with the plants well. And they might, but the problem is the racks, because they're so territorial, the crayfish, that you have to add racks, and that would really gum up how much plant space I've got. Keep spawning culture, y'all, Hendrix says, and I agree.
That is the whole point.
Oh, didn't see that was Jacob. Yep, that is Jacob. That did the was it mock oyster? Yeah. Which I've never tried to eat. I've grown. No, it wasn't the mock oyster I grew. It was the hairy panus, which I know it's a weird name. Panus. Panus. Hairy panus. We'll say panus. It's more fun to say panus, but but I don't want to get shut down. All right, let's do a sponsor real quick, and I'll be right back. What was that?
That's the
Trash can?
Yeah, it's the lid. I think it's that bag.
Imagine a world where the most unique, rare, and powerful mushroom strains are preserved, studied, and shared with growers like you. That's exactly what we're building with the Mycologium, a living archive of fungal biodiversity, sourced from the wild, expanded in the lab, and made available for researchers, growers, and curious minds alike. But here's the best part. You can be a part of it. If you're a bioprospector, a forager, or just someone who loves finding cool mushrooms in the wild, you can send in your samples. If you send me in a wild mushroom and I can successfully clone it, I'll send you back a cleaned up culture of it. If you send me a culture that you've already cleaned up yourself, I'll send you one for our library, ready to grow, experiment with, or add to your collection. That's right. Culture for culture. You help expand the library, and you get something amazing in return. The goal? To preserve fungal diversity, to give people access to new genetics, and maybe, just maybe, to discover something truly groundbreaking. So if you've got an interesting mushroom, a rare find, or a strain that deserves a place in the archives, send it in. Let's build something incredible together. The Mycologium, preserving fungal biodiversity, one culture at a time. Want to learn more? Hit us up, shoot us a message, and let's keep spawning culture, y'all.
I was hoping to have this battery changed out before you guys came back. But that's all right. You guys can bear with me. You guys are chill. Grab this and see if I... Oh, sorry, Sam.
Yeah. Is it gonna bother you if I turn on the setup?
I don't think so. We're going to turn on the HEPA filters, guys. If it's too loud, let us know. But if I
I'm
need
sure
to...
there's someone in the audience somewhere who's waiting on an order. So I've got 15 more seconds.
Oh, that kind of sounds loud. That's all right. I might go outside. We can sit on the front table. Is that exceedingly loud, guys? It smells kind of like a aquarium. All right. Well, nobody has said it's too loud, and nobody has said it is not loud enough. So we'll leave it going for now. All right. Jacob Howard says, I met a lady last fall who lived in Yunnan, China for a while where that mushroom grows. She said that she ate it, but didn't have any hallucinations because they don't give that effect when cooked thoroughly. Yeah, everything I'm seeing is whenever it's raw and raw only. What's the backstory of your moon pearls? It's an oyster, right? Speaking of moon pearls, so that Jacob Howard, he's the one that did the initial mutation, the one who literally commented before you. It is an oyster. Jacob Howard did the initial mutation, I believe, by breeding it to itself until it mutated, by just brute forcing it like that. And then he sent me the version he had still had some gill tissue, I think. So he sent me some spores, and then he called it the blob, and then the king blue truffle, and then I took it and selectively bred it just until we removed all of the spore tissue. Jacob, I want to do that while you're here. I want to do that with the golden oyster. I wonder what your thoughts are on that, because I think that we can do that with the golden oyster. And I'm even gonna try to get a blob mutation I've got my UV lamp set up right there. So I'm about to start doing kill curves on golden oyster spores. So that would be, I think, something that we could do. I've got the Saratoga Gold. I want to try. I've got your golden oyster variant, and I'm going to try it as well to see if we can't mutate it into a blob format. So cool. Yeah, he's super cool. Jacob is. So there are people who. I'm gonna brag on Jacob for just a second. There are people I know who are good at mushroom breeding because they're very scientific. There are people who are good at mushroom breeding because they intuitively understand it. I feel like Jacob understands both methods. And I tend to be an intuition breeder, though I'm capable of doing the scientific. But there's a lot of people who get into it and they just have no intuitive sense at all. And I feel like Jacob's really got the intuitive sense for it. Yeah, I'll send you some spores. We can try it on both ends and then maybe swap it. Now that I'm getting back hardcore into breeding and the cultures, because I'm quitting everything I'm bad at. And we can talk about that on the phone some point. But I'm quitting everything I'm bad at and leaning into only the things I'm good at and that don't stress me out. And mushroom breeding is one of those things. So, yeah, I think we can figure it out big time. You're fine. I don't think you're causing any harm. We've not, lost a great big amount of people or anything. So, and nobody said that the noise is bad. Sometimes StreamYard filters out certain noises. Discord's really good at that too, but I feel like StreamYard's not quite as good at it. Yeah, but I wanted this. I wanted, in fact, I might turn the camera where people can see you working behind. Would that make you nervous? Good. Good, then we'll do it. I'm playing. What? It's fine. It's fine. Okay, what slide was I going to make? We've already looked at the mycelium. Oh, we didn't get a chance to look at it before it went in depth, did we? No, we did. We got to see the clamp connection. Okay. We didn't do bladder wart. Let's look at some bladder wart. Oh, I'm going to hand this to Samantha. She's going to put a sample on this. She's... All right, so she's going to get that going. Well, we're just going to watch her work while we're talking. That way it gives you guys something interesting to watch. What is this? Golden antler reishi. All right. Oh, my black magic got disconnected. Let's see. All right, we're gonna. That being out there is God. Yeah, I mean, so we're being observed by God. Yeah. But would everything be? Are we being observed by anything else? You might say. Let's see. Okay. 1 second. I'm heading over to the microscope. All right, I'm gonna have to. Oh crap! I can't turn this. Alrighty. Oh well, we got some movement in this one. So we got some fluid dynamics going on. All right, so that's a good view. All right, let's see what we can do. So let's go one more step. Got to boost that light.
So before I draw more,
It looks good to me. There's a lot of floaters, but none of them look bacterial to me.
well, this one's a new one that hasn't had a lot of time to grow.
Okay, so
a
it
lot
could
of that might
be
sugar.
sugars. I don't see any budding, so it doesn't look like yeast to me.
I'll go ahead and plate it.
Oh, I would definitely plate it. In fact, I mean we're like 800 times, I think, and so yeast would already be visible long ago. I'm not seeing any motility. I don't know. That worries me right there. But yeah, I would just go ahead and plate it. Some of that might be yeast. They look like spores to me. And they might be, what are they called? Chlamydospores? I can't remember the name now.
Well, essentially what you're seeing is the screening process that every single lot number goes through. We have inventory of a previous lot number that's passed multiple screenings, so this is just the first screening. And then that's what will go out on an order, and then this lot number will be put on hold until it screens clear across like 5 different types. So we have a sniff test, a microscope screening, we have the agar growth, and then we will grow it out in both grain and on sawdust. And if it all fails, chances are we've got something that has succeeded enough that we could get a clean transfer off of it. And then we never send down anything that doesn't pass to a customer. It's always on hold or discarded if it doesn't pass. It's only on hold until it passes all of them. Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
I honestly think that these might be, I forgot the name of the structure, but certain reishi species, and we don't know the species of this one. Certain reishi species will produce spores, clonal spores along the body.
So this one is RDTN2.
Yeah, I think it's Kurtzai, but I don't know.
And this is from a needle biopsy
It could
from a really early
Gotcha.
plate from whenever it was first discovered.
It could be sessile or it could be Kurtzai. I don't really know. I think it's Kurtzai, but. Oh, right there is a crystal. Hold on, I'm gonna. Oh no! This is how far zoomed in I am. You have to go so carefully. Ow! Get a grip, Andrew. So right there, that little diamond-looking shape. As you pass through it, you can see the diamond shape to it.
Yep.
That's a crystalline structure. That could be.
Is that rock bacteria?
Not necessarily. That could be a mycelial fragment.
I did just stir the absolute heck out of it before I drew this.
Yeah, that could be a mycelial fragment. I don't know. Rod bacteria is small, but this is the same size as mycelium. Yeah, I would be interested in these plates. Some of that I think is yeast. So we do. Did you do the sniff test yet? Okay, here. We'll go ahead and do the sniff test. We do a sniff test, which is what Samantha's getting preparing right there. And then we do a microscope screening. We do smells like a reishi. Oh yeah, that smells like a straight reishi. Yeah, so we do a sniff test, we do a plate test, we do a microscope screening for every batch. So, and it has to be it's a cluster of tests or a constellation of tests that we do. So it can fail one of the tests as long as it performs well. We also will put it to grain. Again, we put it to agar, and then we put it. Samantha will probably make an LC out of this, and she has backups on backups. But the needle biopsy is from 3/26/24, which would be been 2024.
Keep a line open that's recent and then one that goes back.
Yep. So what she said is that we keep a line open that's recent, like recent production, and then we put we have backups that are in syringes. Like so that was a needle biopsy, or that was made from a liquid culture that was made from a needle biopsy. It's needle biopsy, okay. So that means that it was made from agar. that was from 3/26/24. So we keep like slants and dishes and things like that from backups that go back to several successful batches. Boo, boo, boo. Hold on, I'm going to download this stuff from Sydney before I forget. Because those were such good illustrations, I'd like to keep those. Well, ask him if I can use those in teaching. I think I've asked him before. I used to print them out for mentorships. Hold on a sec. Okay. Computer's having a little bit of a hard time. I think with the stream and the multiple cameras. Okay, I don't know. Oh no! No! I didn't mean to open meta. Okay, we're done. We're done. I don't want to open meta right now. That meta burns me up. My goodness. Okay, so where are we at? So we have gone through the microscope settings. Samantha is wrapping dishes. These are the liquid culture tests that she's doing. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. I'm glad you guys are here to vision. All right, let's try this again. There we go. So she is wrapping dishes. And then so you dropping that stuff off or the table. So you guys should see me whenever I work the lab. Like it looks like a war zone. That underneath me is just like syringes upon syringes. Samantha rarely works that way. She's normally much cleaner than I am. But all right, well, let's see. If you guys have any more questions, then we will keep this thing rolling. But I am going to turn my phone off. I want to turn my phone back on the charger because I had it at 100% when we started, and when it acts like a stream cam like that, it sucks the power down quick. So, yeah, the new studio space is going on. Oh, you know what? I told you guys that I was going to take you to go look at the cordyceps grow. We go do that, and then I'll plug my phone up. So let me. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna get out of here. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that's much better. I don't hear anything awful. Alrighty, so here's my fancy redneck construction. This is how I have now turned it just into a cold room without having to keep filling up the outdoor system. I harvested for the CSA real quick yesterday. This was a bag that we opened up. This is the Hades number 4. we go. But this one gave me some really nice thick clubs. I really liked that. And I like harvest, like CSA was super excited about getting cordyceps. Incidentally, most of them had never heard of it before. I love this stuff. It just pops right off. Just bloop. That's like a little cordyceps nugget. But I like this version. I know some people like the skinnier stuff better. I like these big, thick ones. That's mostly oats, looks like. But I have some other varieties going right now. Some of these are making thick carpets. And they really started popping when I added that air conditioning unit and got it chilly in here. So I don't know if you guys can see those fingers. This is the H5 Beast. Come on. Now that's not going to focus at all. Oh, there we go. Good to see some. And then here, you see I've got some. This one is growing well, but it's definitely growing more on the side. But it's the side where I've got just the ambient light going. This is the H5 crossed with Beast as well. This bag is doing pretty well, but it's growing, again, more on the side. So this one seems to like the light. It seems to really grow in the light. The one I pulled earlier had a thick carpet, and it was over here, where in the darker corner. And I've got, here's another H5 Beast, but this one's got some thick clubs on it versus those thinner ones that the H5 Beast was doing. So these, I think this one got too hot. This is the Mound 4, and someone told me that it was more sensitive to temperatures, and I think this one just got too hot. It's just not done well. Or they call it like cordyceps cola, I think, or something. So some of them are starting to orange up, and so I don't know if it's just slow. Oh, look at this one. So that bag did not do well. But this bag is a thick carpet. That's the Hades version. Hades 4212. That's got a nice thick carpet. So the cordyceps experiment has been fun. Really about to fill that room with enoki, and I want the enoki, and I want that cordyceps. Yeah, I don't like how that works. But that's my fault for crossing the sound. Woo! Oh my gosh.
I know.
Isn't that crazy? We're gonna have, I think we're actually, so we're talking about prototyping out some quieter fans. Yo, Andrew, the Appalachian Enoki is a powerhouse. Thanks for replacing the order that got me froze. They got frozen on me this April. You're very welcome, Dawson. And I'm glad that you enjoy it. The Appalachian Enoki is one of my all-time favorites. So that one, the white gold and the white. I mean, I'm about to start just planting every enoki we've got and filling that whole room with some enoki goodness. My plan is actually to incubate enoki. So right now I'm about to trial out enoki in the warm for incubation. And then once it's grown in, I'm going to bring it in and like basically cold shock it. And then we'll have enoki coming out hopefully all year from that room from now on. And in the wintertime, we'll just put like a little space heater or something in there. But what?
It's unfortunate that it wasn't crystal clear. Makes me sad.
What wasn't crystal clear?
Just the visual screening.
Oh, the visual screen? I think it's good. I don't think it's bad.
That one has been so popular, and that's half the weight on people's orders. Is just making sure it's clean and we're doing
Yeah, right. Samantha doesn't like how long it takes us to get orders out. Neither do I. But proper screening is proper screening. But how long does it take for your cordyceps to incubate in fruit? Roughly 6 weeks. Some of that stuff's been in there for 8 weeks. Some of it's 10. And I've found it's very, very, very strain dependent. That Hades strain is the fastest one I've come across. That's probably the one I'll be running for most of my cordyceps production, because that one produced, I think, in like 5 weeks. Well, you say it's a thick boy, and I thought it was a thick boy, but when we were back there just now, we were looking at some of the other bags, and they had long, thin tendrils and thick carpets of it, and not thick. And they were closer to the light. So I don't know if the light had something to do with that or not. I don't claim to be a cordyceps master. I am definitely a white rot fungi. I have just recently got into cordyceps.
Through an enormous amount of encouragement, I think.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have been very encouraging of it.
Yeah, this is what is put on hold along with very little.
So yeah, we got our test and then our rapid backups. What are the benefits of cordyceps? Like the medical benefits? Mainly, it's a vasodilator. It's an energizer. Really, I think what it is so a lot of people don't realize just how good blood flow is for you. That right there will do a lot. So
yeah, the latest studies have been in VO2 maxing.
Samantha said the latest studies have been VO2 maxing.
And ATP energy production and
ATP production.
Athletic runners.
For runners. Well, Aislinn needs to be doing that. She needs to be taking cordyceps. Since she's on track. She needs to be selling that cordyceps to all of her classmates.
Wow.
We need to be doping the whole squad.
Wow.
Gotta be careful though. You get too much blood in you, they'll think she's blood doping. Where they like put more red blood cells in their blood or whatever.
So some of the Olympic athletes were taking cordyceps whenever they competed.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on the past few Olympics. Past couple Olympics, they were a lot of the Olympic teams were taking cordyceps. Cordyceps is one of the ways I got off oxygen. I was on that oxygen machine for months. And people started, like Sam from Shroom Squatch sent me cordyceps. A couple other people sent me cordyceps. Con Park of USA Cordyceps sent me cordyceps. And I started taking it, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, I could pull the oxygen mask off. And it was like I had enough oxygen in my body. Now, a lot of that was because I had clots. I had like a lot of micro clotting, they called it, which was like gumming up the works, making it to where my the membranes between my organs wouldn't work well, so I couldn't get as much oxygen in my bloodstream, I guess. And what they say, my R factor was like through the roof. D-dimer proteins were through the roof. What's R factor? Wait, that's R factor is the spread of a virus, isn't it? Or a pandemic. Anyways, I think it's R naught or something like that. I'm getting tired. I'm starting to confuse my words. But anyways, that's the main reason I took cordyceps, was that I started feeling like I could take the oxygen mask off. And so now the benefits to a grower is that you have you can do low temp, high CO2 rooms, low airflow. It doesn't mind higher CO2. I have no ventilation in that room right now. And I'm not really that worried about it. And the cordyceps is growing just fine with the higher CO2. There are a few other things, like enoki grows okay, higher CO2. In fact, that's how you get the longer stems. So that allows you to have a room that you can really treat well with air conditioning, and you don't have to. I just flush the air if I'm going to be in there for a while. So if I go in there, I'll scotch the door open, put a fan on it or something like that. If I'm going to be working in there, but usually I just open the door, pull a shelf out, push a shelf in. I don't tend to stay. Like I stayed in there longer than I normally do. It's easier to clean that room because everything stays in the bag. I don't pull anything out of the bag. I don't have to humidify the room. I don't have to treat air or anything like that. So things like cordyceps, you can do lion's mane in vitro in the bags. It'll grow kind of spongy because of the high CO2. Doesn't seem to bother it. And you can just pull a shelf out and then harvest that. You get, like 8 inches of foam with metal lined on both sides to insulate it from temperature changes, which makes like that tiny little air conditioning unit keeps it chilly in there and barely runs. So it's got benefits to, like cordyceps has got benefits to people, and it's got benefits to the growers. It is a fairly quick cycle mushroom. You don't have to have specialty mushroom grow rooms. So people who are looking to get into mushrooms but don't have big space, cordyceps, plus you can stack it. Like you can do the tray method. So you can stack them like that as long as they've got a little bit of light. And that's honestly, cordyceps has been great. Now, there are issues like it's harder to keep genetics for very long. You have to refresh the genetics a lot. But if you order a syringe from Ryan Paul Gates or Appalachian Gold or a couple of the other good purveyors, I would not order it from any of the mass low-cost distributors. Pay the $90 for a good strain. You get a syringe, or maybe it's 2 syringes for $90 from like Ryan Paul Gates. They take care of their stuff. It's gonna work for you a lot better. That Hayes strain from Appalachian Gold, you can buy from him. I wouldn't care if it's more expensive. It's more expensive because the value you're getting, you can expand that big time. With liquid culture, I mean, I'll take that syringe and I'll make a couple of masters with it, and then I'll use one of those a syringe from one of those masters to make 5 liters of liquid culture. And that 5 liters is enough to do 8 bags of cordyceps. And then I've got other syringes. So if I've got like a 500 milliliter syringe, I can pull 50 10 mil syringes from that. I could start 50 5-liter bioreactors. Now, usually I try to refresh my strains every 3 months, and I alternate my suppliers. But again, I think the Hades one is the one I'm going to run from now on for the next little while. And I'll do some small batch ones as tests from other ones. I want to run some of the albino cordyceps from Ryan Paul Gates. And then, you get something like 100 grams, 150 grams of dried fruit off of the bag, off a 5-pound bag. And, they sell for, let's say, anywhere from 39 cents to $1 per gram. So it's just a really good value for people.
And then you're funding someone who's going out scouring the mountains, literally, for your sake, who has a passion for it.
You're supporting
tipping rocks to find insects that have cordyceps growing off of them, so they can bring it to you, kind of thing. And then they're banking it and taking good care of it. And
they've learned how, like,
it's from the source, literally, almost.
It's an Ascomycetes, which is basically what's called a cup fungus, or a cup fungus, sac fungi, not cup fungus. It's a sac fungi, and those are notoriously finicky compared to white rot fungi, right? And so I want them to do all the care work. I've got some ideas in my head brewing around. I'm like, oh, here's how you could breed it, and here's how you could breed it, and here's how you could keep your genetics fresh. But the truth is, they're doing it well enough that I just keep going with that. So I just refresh it with them every 3 months. Lance Armstrong, yeah, exactly. No. It's legal doping. Are there any mushrooms used as aphrodisiacs? Yeah, I mean, cordyceps is, but that's a blood flow thing, right? So again, like, blood flow is important. My D-dimer proteins were up whenever I was really sick, and they're still up enough that I take a blood thinner. And the blood thinner kind of made me feel a little weak and stuff. But also the fact that I was low on oxygen, I got poor cardiovascular health during that time. All of that stuff, the blood flow helped me feel better. Like my lower legs stopped swelling, and I started feeling younger again. In part, taking cordyceps. Now, I'm not promising it'll help everybody because I don't think Samantha feels as big of an effect as I do. But I'm broken, and Samantha's not broken. So, what are you looking for? Huh?
Where'd you put the scale?
Over there, where you always have it, on the same shelf that you normally have it.
No, the black scale, the kitchen scale.
Is that it?
No. Sir?
Is that it? Is that it? I don't know. Where would I put I didn't move the black scale.
It was right here.
I didn't touch it.
But it's no different than taking chamomile tea before you go to sleep to calm yourself down. Lemon balm tea to...
If Thor had eaten mushrooms, what type of mushroom would he have eaten? Well, if we're watching Thor Ragnarok, the Marvel version, probably some sort of psilocybin or cubensis. Okay, maybe I did move it over there. I probably moved that over there.
It stays here. This is where scales go.
Speaking of, did I tell you that we got the 2 cases of the Dr. Solarian's liquid culture premix ordered?
That's what I'm...
Okay, that's what you're working on?
On top of all of the orders with
Okay.
nutritional mix.
I just want to make sure. I couldn't remember if I told you or not.
I'm working on it.
Well, I didn't know. So he probably would have eaten, well, Amanita, because that's from the Norse world, right? And then, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, are we talking geographic? That's an open-ended question. He would have eaten a lot, especially the gourmet ones, because in the Norse mythology, Thor was a notorious, like his table would creak heavy with food, they said. So he liked his luxurious foods. So if I wanted to make permanent slides for education, i.e. clamps, lack of spores, oh my gosh, I can never say this word. Cheliocistidia, Basidium, etc. Would the best way to make permanent be by using clear fingernail polish? Thanks. That's a great question. I don't know how you would preserve the mushroom tissues. I never made permanent ones with that. You would want to dry it. So I don't know if you're familiar with making slides or not. So the way I would do it is you make your slides so like a little bit of liquid culture. You can put it on a dish, or you can, like I put mine on the corners of these slide boxes a lot of times, so I can put 4 of them on a box. And you can just leave them in front of your HEPA filter until they dry. And then once they dried, or you can quick dry them, but you want to rapidly dry it. You can do it the torch method is the way we used to do it with bacteria. You have to just kind of wave it around the heat of the torch. It's very tedious. You don't put it through the torch because you don't want to burst the cells. You're just looking to rapidly dehydrate the tissue. And then I would stain it. If I was doing mycelium, I would dry it, stain it. That's the only way I can think of that you would preserve it. And then, maybe clear coat it. But honestly, if you put a slide over it, there's archival
quality clear cuts.
I was going to say that there's a material that I've seen my professor used to use, and I can't remember what it was. But you're talking about the job for a microscopist. Like that's like a whole nother, like, microscopy is a job and a technical art in and of itself. So like I dabble in it and I know some very, very, very basics, but I'm more like people think I'm a mushroom guy, but I'm definitely more of an ecologist than I am anything. Or I would love to earn the title of selective breeding engineer or artificial evolutionarist, something like that. But
Wow.
but I just know the basics of microscopy. I'm not like a super talented one or even well trained. This is something that I do and learn, and it's a hobby. So I don't really know. The AI would know. Chat would know because that's scientific literature, and so there would be a ton of the scientific literature
Find
there.
someone else who would know. There's gotta be someone out there that's just
Well, there's tons of people.
miraculously good.
Alan Rockefeller would know, and he's usually pretty easy to reach out to. But if it's something that I can get easily from the AI, I would just do that. Have you ever tried?
I want to hunt people down.
You want to hunt people down? No, you don't even like being hunted down.
No, I don't.
Have you ever tried growing mushrooms on beard hair? I've grown on hair, but not beard hair. I've grown on Samantha cut my hair one time, and
You have copious amounts of beard hair, sir. That you don't want to-
No, I think he's informing me that I have copious amounts of beard hair. I do need to go to the barber and get a little bit of a trim. Your other comments are serious and educational. Mine are out of place. That's okay. It's all content to me, baby. Hey, Jake Wolf. How much time how much time should I tell a big retail store to wait so I'd actually produce their mushrooms? I told them about 1.5 months. Should be enough for spawn, incubation, grow room. If you've already got some masters going, then yeah, you just expand out a little bit more spawn. You might have stuff in 2 or 3 weeks for them. But, if you tell them a month or a month and a half, and then let them know it might be earlier, but a month and a half at the is more regular.
I have always tried to avoid exacts.
Even
in emails, when is my order going to be ready? Look, if I were psychic and knew when the order was there and could prepare it ahead of time, and if I could control it to be instantaneous, we would all be rich. But yeah, I just, here's a time frame, and then give yourself a grace period after too, like at least by 2 to 3 days to make sure you can. And I know that's hard, especially if you're doing an event or some sort of, a lot of these things are for nonprofits and dinners and things like that to raise money. It's almost at 200.
I was just looking at what you're doing. Do I need to order more sugars?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, what I was going to say is I use the Scotty method from Star Trek, right? She can't do it, Captain. It's going to take like 2 days to fix this engine. Oh, look, I'm a miracle worker. I got it done in 3 hours.
But it's hard because I know there's that pressure.
There is pressure.
I would rather under-promise and over-deliver.
Always under promise, over deliver.
But then there's that pressure of, will I even get the sale if I don't over-promise? And it's crap. Don't let yourself, because then you're just going to make everybody mad.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Like, that's what Samantha's saying about like avoiding like giving specifics. I definitely, I'm definitely like careful on that. Like, I've got a customer right now who is so angry with me because I promised it would be within a few days, which is not something I ever do. And on the phone, I said it could be as little as few days, but more likely 2 to 3 weeks. And then it took like 4 or 5 weeks. And then they were upset about that because they said I promised. And I was like, I would never promise. And this is why we do business through the phone. Not through the phone, through email and not the phone. So
That way we've got details that are...
That way you've got record, I've got record, and we can all know what's going on because setting proper expectations are the key to good business, in my opinion.
And our biggest thing is some of our stuff, because of YouTube, goes viral. And we'll have like hundreds to thousands of orders all at once if we're not careful. So it's just one of those things that, and then we'll try to fill
We
it
never
as
have
fast as we
thousands of
can.
orders, but I said never have thousands of orders, but we could have hundreds if they stack up. Also, did you see the NASA reports, the asteroid called Bennu, much older than Earth, that had tryptophan in on the asteroid? Scientists got excited about it, and of course the mushroom from Space Folks stoked. I did not see anything about that. I'll have to look it up. How would they know there was tryptophan on it? Was there some sort of scope, like some sort of light scope that they used? And I agree with Jake Wolves, everybody. We need more likes. Like that video. Like the stream. Show me some love. I love the love, baby. Most of the OG YouTube mushroom growers have stopped posting content. You guys are some of the few originals. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, that was always part of what we wanted to do was I wanted to share information with people that I wish I had when I started off. So it is a hard balance, though. How accessible do I make myself versus how much time can I actually spend doing it and still make a living? And so that's one of the reasons why we do the 3-hour live streams once a week is so that I can tell people, hey, I need to get off the phone with you. But if you want to ask me questions, you've got 3 hours to do it on Thursday at 5 p.m. And I really, really tried to push that a little bit harder. So because I want to remain accessible to people, but, you know, it's also hard for me as a semi-introvert to, what is it? ADHD are extroverts who don't like people or don't like being around people or so. I can't remember what it was, but it's one of those things where I try to remain accessible. Some guys also, their channels just crashed and burned. And others, their businesses crashed and burned. And we've had, thankfully, blessedly, we've had a longevity that others have not had. And part of that's you guys. Did you see Renegade? Dude's new vid, or his morel bed. He actually is starting to fruit some. Really? He's getting fruit bodies off of it? Okay, I'll have to go check that out. I like Renegade. His channel is smaller than it should be, in my opinion. But I feel like that's happening with YouTube a lot. Like my channel growth has slowed. A lot of other people's has. I'm starting to see a lot more mushroom influencers out there, which is good. I don't think it's a bad thing. But the even they aren't really growing as fast. I feel like, I don't know if it's AI, like slop, that's killing YouTube, or if it's YouTube's bad practices that they operate under, or what. I don't really know. I'm seeing a lot more direct traffic on our website than coming from YouTube. I'm also seeing a fair amount of business come through. Like it'll say in our analytics, but it'll say ChatGPT or Google Gemini, X or Grok or something like that. It'll tell me like it's. So I'm starting to get business from AI being used as search engines, I guess, and a lot less through YouTube. So, but I'm using YouTube because it's a good streaming platform. And it allows me to keep contact with people. The asteroid thing is interesting considering they say the very first living organism was something like a fungus. Yeah, I mean, it was something like a fungus, but it was something like a plant too. Because there was that break off, and then the fungus developed more fungal, well, it was like fungus animal, and then animal fungi broke off into eukaryotes. But it is very interesting. I personally think asteroids seed planets with life. I think it's an interesting hypothesis that I really want to be true. I don't know when we would be able to prove it. Maybe if we can land some rovers or something on more. You'd want something that's out of this. So what was that one that just came through not too long ago? That was real weird. They were like, oh, this is unexpected. But it had been traveling for a very long time between star systems. It's like it would have been cool if we could have landed something on that, and checked it out to see. But of course, that wouldn't have been definitive because we would have to check a bunch of them because not necessarily all of them carry life. Now, another interesting thing, too, is there's that show, The Expanse, where Three Eye Atlas, that's it. Thank you, Steve. So there's the idea that you have, like, the proto-molecule in the show is what it's called. It was supposed to land on Earth when there was, like, bacterial biofilm, right? And then it was supposed to repurpose that into a gateway so that they could rejoin the hive mind, so to speak. And they would gain access through their little Stargate system that would be developed through the protomolecules hijacking of life. And then, of course, it gets captured into orbit, and then humans find it much later, and then it gets weird, right, in that show. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a great one. But I think it's they have that basic idea, and of course people think it's a weapon, but of course you're like, well, they said it billions of years before there were humans, they wouldn't know. If I want to make permanent slides, it's using clear female polish the way to seal them. I don't actually know. Samantha was saying that there's some archival grade clear coats. I would look into that. I would ask the AI, but again, that's as I was saying earlier, Steve, that's one of those things that I don't actually know. A microscopist would know, and I bet because microscopists know, and because it's probably in scientific literature, the AI would probably know really well. But I don't actually know that myself. I've not made permanent slides since I was in college. In fact, then, no, we didn't. I don't think we made permanent slides then. You know what? We can Google it though. How to preserve microscope slides. Involves cleaning, dehydrating the sample using mounting media like Depix. That's it, Depix. We use that. If you want to preserve them, it must be free of water. If water is present, then microorganisms like the fungi will decompose. So yeah, you use Depix to create a permanent mount and sealing the covered glass. So you put the glass over it and then you seal the glass. Slides should be stored horizontally in cool, dark, dry boxes to prevent fading and damage. You might have to give me some Depix. I think Rockefeller uses that method. The fingernail polish. I mean, it's not about. He knows all the workarounds. Alan certainly knows a lot of the workarounds. Hey, there's Ed. Permamount is another product. Okay. I'm not familiar with that one. Permount. Permount. Mounting medium. It's spelled Permount. Permount. Which I think stands for permanent. What is Depix? I'm not familiar with Depix. Yes, thank you, Ed. When you calculated 2.5 minutes to completely vent out a grow room, was it the stated cubic feet on the fan? I'm currently struggling with the inlet on my Precon. No matter how much I pull, it doesn't help. It was based on the cubic foot per minute of the fan. Every 90-degree bend in your ventilation cuts it in half, and as spores build up, they slowly will constrict, depending on how much they build up, but they can slowly do it. But the word you said about making permanent slides depict. Depict. I don't remember what I said, buddy. That would sound like that. Depix. Depix. Depex. There we go. I'll put it in the chat. My bad, Steve. Do you think it's possible to start a growing business with those plastic grow bottles? This question assumes the bottles are loaded and cleaned manually. You can. You absolutely can. You'd want a quick way to clean it out. It's better, in my opinion, to use the bags because they're disposable until you can get the automation to do so. But people use a drill bit, like a wide paddle bit, basically, and they're able to just zip it through. So it can be done pretty quickly. Those bottles are only, I don't know, like I tried some of the bottles and my yields were so abysmally low that I was not pleased. You really can't get much substrate into them. And I like the bags way better. Dr. Ed, where can I find your store? Did you stop the store? Please don't put link here, just where I can find it. I think he said he closed it, guys. I don't know. I'll let him answer for himself. I remember Myers using a wooden spoon and a drill to clean. Yeah, so let's something like that, or one of the resin mixing bits works well. It's a paddle. Well, I don't seem to see it. So, but it's like a resin mixing paddle. Those work pretty well. But yeah, but something like that would work really well. But even then, it's still a lot of work because you still have to manually clean every one of them. It's just a little faster. Now, I will say, Plum, one thing I was thinking of was a drill press, but just a mounted drill, so like a rotary tool with a paddle bit on it. And then you can just take that cup and just up, down, like that. You can do it really quick like that. And I've done cups with the bagger, the Thor bagger, and you can get it. You have to really pull that pressure regulator down low. But honestly, it's not my favorite thing, just because I don't feel like the yields are worth it. Ed, are the incontinence pads working good for pains in your new larger setup? That's hilarious. That's a good question. Let's see if he answers it while we're waiting. I'm gonna. Speaking of Dr. Solarian, Samantha's over here, or she was over there. We had a wholesale order of 2 cases of Dr. Solarians. So, in honor of that, let's check that out.
Introducing the future of mycology, Dr. Solarian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery. This isn't your average culture mix. It's a revolution in a packet, crafted for the dedicated cultivator seeking unparalleled growth. Experience the visual alchemy of this masterful brew. As you mix 10 grams with 500 milliliters of water, watch the solution transform into a rich, amber spectacle, the hallmark of a nutrient-dense sanctuary for your burgeoning mycelium. This is where vibrant color meets vibrant life, setting our elixir apart from the ordinary clear liquid cultures. Prepare to be captivated. Mix 10 grams of Dr. Solarian's elixir with 500 milliliters of water, add a stir bar for thorough integration, and sterilize the blend at 15 psi for 45 minutes. Once cooled, introduce your favorite culture into this perfectly prepared, nutrient-rich environment. Watch in awe as the elixir works its magic, unveiling a mycelial masterpiece before your eyes. Choose Dr. Solarian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery for a mycological adventure that's as visually enchanting as it is potent.
Man, that didn't give me enough time. I was trying to place my order for more Dr. Solarian's supplies. So I'm almost done. Bam, done. Very cool. Okay. Ed says, Dr. Ed, Dr. Grand. I have such a hard time. My grandfather drilled that into me that if he was not a doctor himself, but he was like, if someone earns that title, you give them that title. Was able to ship to the U.S., so closed the store. Majority of customers were in the U.S. I'm having a hard time with predatory plants and rice fish, checking into wholesalers and stuff for that. And I looked into wholesalers for that, and it was definitely like, since the Iran war started, it's hard to get the stuff shipped from like Malaysia. I have the unfortunate problem of having my incubation closer to where air would leak in before my grow room, meaning unless I try super hard to push into my pre-con as much as I can, I get high CO2. Unless I try super hard to push into my pre-con. Why would you? I might need to see a diagram. I'm having a hard time visualizing that. I can't move them around. I'm splitting a 16-inch vent into two. Wait. one 6-inch vent into two 6-inch fans with a carbon filter at the inlet. Not enough air at the moment. So you're pushing air in instead of pulling air out in a negative space? Can you pull air out of your grow room and have it drift from incubation that way? Why are we pushing air in instead of pulling it out? Or are we talking about the lab space? Like, again, I might need to... I didn't catch any fish. Oh, well, maybe tomorrow. I need to go fishing. Oh, tomorrow's the trout stocking day. Maybe I can run over there for a couple hours, fill my limit. Yes, incontinence pads work well if the temperature is stable. I'm having trouble now with temps affecting the relative humidity. I get swings of 10 degrees Celsius in my grow room some days. I might need to supplement the humid. Getting ready for work. Gotta go soon. Real work sucks. It does and it doesn't. I think you skipped a comment. Did I? I don't see one that I missed. Thanks. That one? It might have held a comment. Sometimes it does that. Where is my filter? I've forgotten where it's at here. Sometimes the algorithm holds a comment. I don't see one, Jacob. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry if I did, Jacob. But I'm not seeing it in the chat. Oh, shit. Oh, man, that hurts the forearms so bad. No sauna for me tonight either, which sucks. I burned my elements out again. All right, guys, I think we'll end it because we're about 10 minutes away, and I'm gonna go grab some supper. I'm hungry. I lifted really heavy yesterday, and it has awakened my appetite. So, give me one more second. May the spawn be with you. Thanks a ton for everything. Take care, y'all. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for making this a good stream and allowing me to play with the new studio space. I really wanted to have it further along before I had you guys in here, but I didn't want to skip more than 1 week of lives. So you guys get an early look compared to the people that watch the videos, because I have far fewer people that watch the live streams than watch the videos. So the new videos, hopefully, when it comes out, we'll get to surprise a bunch of people with the new and improved studio space. I've got an image from Everyman Bio. That's a lot of his cool bacteria and fungi and stuff, macro shots that I want to get up here. I need to hang I've got a really cool framed screen print that someone gave me that is a monk riding whale. And I think it's Zen monk riding whale. And I'm going to put that over there. I consider that my lab commie. And then we'll have hopefully some other cool stuff. And we'll try to get a couple of 3D printed lamps up and just make it look real nice and then have some really nice capabilities. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, guys. Thank you so much for making this a good one. And hold on. I'll go through the comments real quick. Have a good night. Thanks. I'll have something to watch when I get home. Excellent, Ed. I appreciate that. I'm always happy that you watch me. May the fungus be with you. And you, Plum, may the fungus be with you. So I do pull air out of the grow room, but it is after the incubation, meaning the flow goes through incubation before grow room. So to avoid that, I push air into my pre-con as well. But air pushed, not enough. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, send me a diagram on email or something like that. Like just a hand drawing will do fine. I'll look at it. I need some pictures. Grace looks disgusted when eat. Was that meant for me? Have a good night, y'all. Thank you so much. Keep spawning culture.
Step into the lab, lights hum like a starship dock. Pine logs stacked like data banks in a cube block. I calibrate climates while the timeline bends. Writing fungal code loops only mycelium sends. I navigate ecosystems with instinctive precision. Every egg a plate a portal to a parallel vision. Menaships spin up like reactors at dawn. You want a culture revolution, then you better respond. We fracture the boundaries of the natural order. Make Reishi bloom sideways like a space-time border. I'm an Appalachian alchemist, wild ridge born, with a druid's intuition and a mind full of spores.
Keep spawning culture.
We're the network underfoot, the unseen sculpture.